Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
So in order to appreciate this story, you gotta forget about everything I've ever told you about Superman, because this is almost a completely different character. Here's Superman.
Would you like to see the footage?
Yeah, Gary.
Dude, it's Greg. That's gonna be really hard for me to be nice to you.
I'm so sorry, man.
So we meet Superman in Antarctica after getting his ass kicked by the Hammer of Baravia. He calls for his dog, Krypto, who adds to the beating, but eventually drags his pummeled ass to the Fortress of Solitude.
You have a dog?
Yeah, and he's not even a very good one.
A bunch of robots come to get him and play a message from his Kryptonian parents to relax him, and then proceed to talk over it the whole time. They hold him down and heal him with sunshine, using the burning ants with a magnifying glass method.
Don't be such a wuss.
They don't even fully charge him before he wants to stop, and Krypto wants to play.
This ain't playtime! Quit messing around!
He's an annoying little shit who's been messing up the place while he's been gone. And to thank him for saving his life, Superman just yells at him and goes back to where he was getting beat up.
What a dick.
Well, in Metropolis, the Hammer of Baravia is destroying buildings and killing innocent people, so I guess I can see why I'd want to get back. But we see the evil billionaire Lex Luthor is using drones to watch the fight, and he's somehow controlling the hammer like a video game character. He's yelling out fight moves that he and his computer nerds had to memorize. And after studying Superman for years, Lex is able to predict his fighting style and developed over 2,500 moves to counter with. So after he knocks Superman on his ass again, the Hammer announces that he'll continue to attack American cities and then fucks off. And it's a good thing that Superman doesn't follow, because their camp is just right outside of town.
Where no one will ever find it.
We find out that Lex is trying to get rid of Superman because he stopped the country of Baravia from invading Jarhampur, and since Lex sells weapons to Baravia, he would very much like to see that war happen. He's also trying to sell his team of soldiers in supersuits, Planet Watch, to the Pentagon, along with the engineer, a spy he injected with nanites, who's able to form anything she can think of, and Ultraman, a homegrown metahuman, who also happens to be the guy in the Hammer of Baravia suit, and Lex's personal light switch operator. But the Defense Department thinks that Superman is too popular, so they're gonna pass.
It tested well with focus groups, alright?
Clark Kent wrote an article about the Superman fight, which made the front page. His parents couldn't be happier, but his coworkers think that his writing sucks too much to be on the front page.
I didn't actually have to make it through your writing, Clark.
At her apartment later, Lois Lane, who's trying to keep their dating a secret, tells Clark that if he keeps claiming that he's the only person in the city that can get interviews with Superman, eventually people will figure out that he's really Superman. So his solution is that she needs to interview him. She wants to know why he stopped Baravia without consulting the US government first, because Baravia is an ally and Jarhampur isn't. He says that he stopped it because it was the right thing to do, and he didn't think that he needed the government's permission if he was acting alone, which involved illegally entering a country, kidnapping their leader, torturing him, and then threatening to do worse if he continues.
I don't get it. What's bad about that?
But the world sees him as an American hero, and the optics look bad. People online are even questioning if he has bad intentions, knowing that he's an alien.
So people think he might be a bad guy because he stopped people from dying?
But see, they were people from another country with a bad reputation. There's always going to be a group that thinks that people deserve to die based on something stupid like where they were born. But people also post negative comments on babies taking their first steps, so there's assholes everywhere, including Antarctica. See, the fight with the Hammer was really just a way to find out where the Fortress of Solitude was. The engineer followed him there and reported the location back to Lex. Now he, her, Ultraman, and Lex's Instagram model girlfriend, Eve Tessmacher, get to the Fortress of Solitude and open it with no problem. But in order to get what they came for, they have to fight and destroy all the robots and hurt Krypto.
Those buttholes.
To make sure that Superman wouldn't interrupt him, last night, Lex's men released a Chaos Demon that turned into a giant Chaos Demon the next day. And he's got his work cut out for him too, since no one in Metropolis, including animals, have any survival instincts.
Get out of here, you idiot!
But eventually the Justice Gang shows up to help. There's Guy Gardner, a Green Lantern, who, like the engineer, has the Walt Disney "if you can dream it, you can do it" power, but his comes from a ring.
I made giant oven mitts!
Mr. Terrific is a super smart guy in a flying gaming chair who fights with his balls.
Gross.
Oh, come on. They're mechanical drones that do sciencey shit. Then there's Hawk Girl, a chick with wings.
I can fly. I'm pilot.
Superman tells him that he's trying to knock it the fuck out so they can take it somewhere and study it. But the Justice Gang just says, nah. Because the Chaos Demon's skin is really thick, Hawk Girl tries to take out one of the eyes, while Guy creates an automatic thrusting dildo to take out the other one. And Mr. Terrific shoves his balls down its throat, blows him up in its stomach, and it dies.
Timber!
Are you really that stupid?
So while Superman was dealing with that, Lex was able not only to download the video his parents sent, that the robots already conveniently had up for him, but also recover some of the damaged part of the video. It says that he should use his godlike powers to take over the world and kill those who don't kneel before him. He should also bang and knock up as many broads as he can, so he can pass on the Kryptonian genes and Krypton can be reborn. Lex went to the news with this, and everyone, including the people he just saved, turn on him.
Little did we know he was a traitor.
Now, he's never heard the part of the message that told him to be a man whore and not pull out. But the first part of the message sounds like he was there to help the world.
Catch up.
That message is why I do what I do.
So he's finding out with everybody else that he was really sent there to be a dictator. Emphasis on the dick.
It's an awfully small. It'll get bigger.
It has apparently been growing.
Like, I can't even tell you how big.
But if they knew that he would have all of these powers, how could they be sure that his penis wouldn't just fire off like a shotgun?
I'm sure he would have figured it out. I mean, after he blew a hole through the backs of a few women, I'm sure he would have stayed out of the sun, at least for a few days, to drain some of his jizz power to at least Super Soaker PSI levels.
Safety first, people.
You're gonna be fine.
Because let's be honest, evil Superman would not be using a turkey baster.
How do you even know?
I just do.
Anyway, the Justice Gang ask him if it's real, and he says that they've doctored the second half. And Mr. Terrific's like, oh come on, the media wouldn't release a story or footage unless they knew it was real.
And the news never lies.
Although I am curious on how, if this was supposed to be the distraction, how did Lex and his team manage to get into the Fortress of Solitude, hack an alien computer, find exactly what they need, fly back to the United States from Antarctica, get the video authenticated by 28 different linguists, and get on a TV show? Meanwhile, this dude couldn't even finish a fucking yogurt using a big spoon.
Any chance they're mistaken?
Unfortunately, no.
The Hawk Girl asks the simpler question, how did they get it? So Superman fucks off to the Fortress of Solitude. There, he finds the place completely trashed. But more importantly, Krypto's missing. So Superman's like, that butthole! And goes to Lex's office looking for him.
Where's the dog?
But Eve, who's always on her phone, records it and sends it to the news. Superman's so upset that he can't find Krypto that he doesn't even fight this giant eyeball monster and goes home.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Now, Lois and Clark have only been dating for 3 months, but already have this weird break into each other's apartment thing. So she's there with some hot cocoa to make him feel better.
Well, it's nice that the one person that could be one of his whores is on his side.
We're just seeing each other.
I mean, she does know his backstory and about the original video being corrupted.
And the investigative journalist wouldn't consider she's being groomed.
I question everything and everyone.
But the crowd with zero survival instincts immediately thought of it.
I never thought you were, even for a moment.
Shut up! A billionaire told him it was true, so it clearly has to be. Even though most rich people either have generational wealth or have no idea how they actually got rich and shouldn't be used as reliable sources. Plus, he has an army of trained monkeys that troll people in the comment sections. So a lot of people are just siding with monkey bots instead of people who actually agree with them.
The people are simple and profoundly confused.
And this includes the Department of Justice. They're going to issue a warrant for Superman's arrest, so he's going to turn himself in, so maybe they'll take him to the same place they took Krypto. So he tells Lois that he loves her for the first time, and then fucks off without her saying it back.
I love you, Lois.
Why?
Since he's from outer space, they've given authority of his arrest to Planet Watch. They take him to a teleporter thing and send him to a metahuman jail in a pocket universe. There, they have this dude Rex, who can turn his body into any substance, and he turns his arm into kryptonite so he won't be strong enough to break out.
Okay, well, you can't use that.
And as soon as he's jailed, Bravia goes back to invade Jarinpur.
Your Superman has abandoned you!
But Lois noticed that Lex barely took any money for his weapons to Bravia, so she's trying to figure out why. So her coworker, Jimmy Olsen, texts someone to find out anything that they can, and he finds out about the prison and then plans to meet up with this person later. It's Eve, who happens to be an ex-fling of his, who he dumped because she had weird feet.
But you said my toes look like someone spilled shrimp cocktail on the floor.
Yeah.
And for some reason, this fame whore would rather be with Jimmy instead of a billionaire, even if he is an evil bastard.
Lex tortured a dog the other day.
But he convinces her that they can't be together unless she gets dirt on Lex, so he can help put him in jail. So she agrees and fucks off, leaving him upset that he might have to have sex with a beautiful woman.
Oh, poor baby.
Lois goes to the Hall of Justice to get the Justice Gang to help her break Superman out of prison. They don't want to get political, but Mr. Terrific says that he'll check it out with her, so they take his giant ball to the beach. When the guards try to stop him, Mr. Terrific smacks everybody in the face with his balls. Then they go to the pocket door. Inside, Lex plays Russian roulette with some guy that gave Superman a sandwich once, and he gets shot in the head, and he dies.
Superman won't be able to ignore that.
Why'd he pick that guy?
He saw him run over to see if he was okay during the hammer fight. But Lex's next target is going to be Clark Kent, since he's the only reporter who's interviewed Superman.
Won't people realize Clark is Superman when he doesn't show up for work?
You're late again, Kent.
So I guess his glasses hypnotize people into thinking his face looks different. And that's kind of a weird thing to have if your parents wanted everybody to know who you were.
Oh, you look like shit.
So Rex is sadder than Superman and says that he'll turn off the kryptonite if he frees his son from prison too. After healing him by faking the sunlight, Superman frees the baby that Lex was threatening to have killed, but Rex can't hold on to him while he changes forms. So Superman has to save Krypto and escape a pocket universe while carrying a baby.
You know that's very silly.
The guards start attacking and are trying to drown him in a plasma river that goes into a black hole. So he calls Krypto, but he's useless. After he takes out the guards, Rex comes in and grabs him, even though he said he shouldn't carry the baby.
You're kidding.
The black hole's too strong and is sucking them in, but Superman's breath is stronger and he blows them all out.
That's a thing you can do?
Lois and Mr. Terrific found their way in, but the door's collapsing on itself. So he uses his balls to find him and locates him after they escape the river. He tells him to follow his left ball because Krypto already bit the right one. So they do and get out right before it crushes them.
You piece of shit!
So seeing that Lois was the one who organized the rescue, he's like, "Aw, I guess you love me too." Then Krypto eats Mr. Terrific's left ball. Lois, knowing that he has kryptonite poisoning, but also that he gets his power from the sun, uses the big ball ship to take Superman and Krypto to his parents' house instead of someplace where it's daytime.
Very funny, Lois.
But she does get to meet his parents and see his childhood bedroom, so I guess there's that.
The mighty Crabjoys suck.
Jimmy calls her, telling her that Eve sent a bunch of selfies saying that she had everything he needs to bring Lex down. When Lois looks, she sees that Lex is getting half of Jor-Emperor after Bravia invades. The Ultraman overheard Eve talking to Jimmy and put her in the pocket jail with his other ex-girlfriends, which Jimmy thinks he's lucky now that he knows he doesn't have to spend time with a girl he considers mid.
Is that really how you feel?
Yes! Lex thinks that if he can take Superman out, then the war will still happen, and he can take off to Luthorland or whatever the fuck he's gonna call it, before the Daily Planet drops the story. His plan is to open the collapsed door, so it'll create a rift that will start destroying the world.
Who is going to Luthorland going to save him if the world ends?
He's gonna have Ultraman kill him, and then he's just gonna type in a code and it's gonna stop. So I guess it's a digital black hole?
That's right.
In the morning, Clark's on the front porch having identity issues. He's upset that his dad sent him to hurt people, but his adopted dad, Jonathan Kent, tells him that what he assumed the rest of the message was shows more about his character and how he was raised than anything. Then his mom Martha comes out and tells him that there's something on the TV. Bravia is about to attack, and the people of Jor-Emperor are hoping Superman will come to save him again, since they're only armed with shit like rakes and cinder blocks.
We are hopelessly, hilariously outgunned.
Just as he's about to leave, Mr. Terrific calls to tell him the rift's about to hit Metropolis. He shows up just in time to save the one lady who couldn't get out of the way of a building falling on her. Then Mr. Terrific shows up telling him about the code to stop the rift, but the engineer and Ultraman tackle him into a baseball field.
What a brilliant tackle, and the fans go wild.
Doesn't sound right.
She knocks Mr. Terrific the fuck out and goes after Superman. She attaches herself to him, and he uses her to beat Ultraman with. But when she breaks free, they do a combo move on him that wins him. Then the engineer sends nanites to fill his lungs and suffocate him. He flies up as high as he can to get them off, and they follow. When they grab him, she covers him completely with nanites, but he drives straight down to kill him since he's protected in a nanite shell. He can now get the nanites out of his lungs because somehow she only got knocked the fuck out. The Ultraman's still up for fighting, and that's when Superman sees that he's a Superman clone. Lex found a hair at one of his fights and made a whole ass dude out of it.
Please.
Superman tells him that his plan isn't going to work because he called the Justice Gang to handle Bravia. Rex joined him, and he and Guy take out the tanks, and Hawkgirl just blows some sand at the troops. Although she does kidnap the Bravian president while screaming like a pterodactyl, and then she drops his ass in the city, and he dies.
Maybe you shouldn't have done that thing in Jor-Emperor.
Lex says that the real plan was to get the government to let him kill Superman, and only started the war because he knew he was a goody two-boots and would stop him. So he proceeds with the ass-kicking, but Superman manages to whistle while his face is being grabbed, and Krypto comes and knocks Ultraman on his ass. Then he tells Krypto, "Get the ball!" and he takes out all the cameras, so now Lex can't call out his chess moves. But Planet Watch Raptors have shown up, which Superman easily takes out with laser eyes and a prolonged pirouette.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
Ultraman tackles his dizzy ass, and they fall into the rift. There's a black hole that's sucking stuff in, and when Superman sees a bus coming, he throws Ultraman into it, and he goes in the black hole, and he dies.
Aw, Junior, you're gonna break your old man's heart.
Mr. Terrific tells him to get off his lazy ass, because they need to get to Lex before the rift reaches the next town. Somehow, everyone got out of Metropolis just fine, but they didn't even bother to warn Bakerline.
That was rude.
Lex is about to escape when Superman gets there, and he tells him that he needs to stop thinking of him as an alien because he was raised as a human. And then Krypto attacks his ass.
Oh, the stupid dog!
Even though somebody offered to give him the code, Mr. Terrific needs to prove how smart he is by putting the code in himself to reverse it. And then everything lines back up perfectly. Well, almost.
What is this?
The news announces that Lex was the one colluding with Bravia to start the war, and now everyone's shitting on Lex and saying that they owe Superman an apology.
Isn't it amazing how quickly everyone can turn against you?
But the message was real. Couldn't both these things be true?
They could, and they are. But since Lex is the one who brought up the story of the super harem, nobody believes it anymore because he could have just made it up.
You know, Luthor did everything he could to ruin Superman's reputation.
Hashtag super spy, hashtag super shit.
So after all this chaos, everyone being released from the pocket dimension, and Lex and his team being arrested, Superman shows up and offers Lois to interview him, like right then and there. But they really just run off to make out. And that's when their boss Perry asks Jimmy how long they've been fucking.
I could fill you in behind the scenes.
Great. How about over here?
But it turns out they're not just fucking. They're full out love banging because she tells him she loves him too.
He's just a big old mush.
At the Fortress of Solitude, we see that the robots are put back together, and Clark wrote an article about the Russian roulette sandwich guy that made the front page. But this wasn't exactly a slow news week, so I'm not sure why this is front page material, but we won't go into that because his cousin shows up drunk.
Dude.
How is this the Fortress of Solitude if there are always robots there and people can just show up whenever?
No boundaries.
Well, the robots aren't people, and actually kind of pride themselves on that, and she's just there to pick up crypto.
How is she drunk?
So it seems that different suns have different effects on Kryptonians. So on planets with red suns, she can do stuff like get drunk and get her ears pierced.
I party like a rock star, choir boy.
But he's not about that life. He's dedicated to Earth, and now watches home movies of his childhood instead of those weird parents who encouraged him to be a man whore.
But that is being human.
I am well aware.
Why is nobody clapping? I didn't imagine that would go so quickly.
I need your help.
What do you want me to do?
Hashtag super shit.
We won't keep you.
Maybe you should join the group.
Maybe that's the real punk rock.
I'm coming in on my own accord. You're in.
I think it gives you character.